Hello, welcome to Staying Well. I'm your host, Beverly Norman, and this evening we have with us as our guest, Berlina Baker. Hi, Berlina, so nice to have you this evening.
Thank you, Beverly. I'm just delighted to be here and to be able to talk about my favorite subject.
Berlina is founder and director of Stay Well Institute. Berlina, can you tell us something about Stay Well Institute?
Yes. The Stay Well Institute is a community-based teaching organization that specializes in teaching people how to stay well. The principles that we basically teach are nothing new, but they are principles that people easily violate. And so what we've done is we've specialized in motivating and encouraging people to practice those habits that will allow them to live longer, feel better, and to be a better functioning member of society.
Sounds very good.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that one of the things you do for people is show them how to change their bad health habits, such as eating the wrong things. Can you tell us something about that? What does your group ask people to do to become healthier in terms of diet changes?
Okay, really there are 8 ingredients that are needed for perfect health. What we're talking about is a health where the person is vibrant and energetic. The person has energy to spare. So eating is just one of those avenues, and it's really the least important. But we spend a lot of time on it because it's an area that people violate constantly within our society. There are a lot of things that we teach people to do, but just to mention a few, one thing is that we try to get people to eat 2 meals a day rather than 3. We found that the less a person eats, the longer that they live, and the less wear and deterioration the body suffers. So that we have an eating style where you would eat 2 meals a day, one being a noon meal and one being a light meal in the evening or a supper. 3 meals a day is an eating style that encourages a person to go to gluttony quite soon. So we found that the fewer meals, the better. We teach people what times of day to eat, because we have to understand that the body is a sophisticated, fabulous piece of machinery. This is a divine equipment that we've been given, and there are certain kinds of instructions that go with this equipment. And one of them has to do with what we eat, when we eat, and how to eat. We encourage people not to eat at night. Eating at night is very, very detrimental to kidneys and to the liver. So that we're talking about not eating at night. We're living in a society now where people work all night, and I know folks who work, say, at the post office, where they're having lunch at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is really an ungodly hour, and they're at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're eating steak and gravy and potatoes and pie and pop. All of this at the time of the day when the body is designed to clean the body, replace cells that are worn out, and repair any damages to organs, so that at night your body has specific functions and it has others for the day.
Does your institute advocate vegetarianism?
Well, we look at eating style as being many-layered. People are at a certain level, and you've got to move up on the ladder. We recognize that the highest form of eating would be a fruitarian diet, because it is the food that requires the least amount of cleansing of the body to rid itself of the waste of the eating. So that we definitely, a vegetarian is in that area where we're moving upward. So people are constantly at a level where they're going to upgrade. So we could get to the point finally at the end that people would be eating a diet that required very little cleansing of their cells at night. So they would have more energy, and the body would be able to live and last much longer. We're looking at a projected lifestyle, a longevity of 150 to 200 years as we change our habits.
Do you really believe people can attain that kind of longevity from following your plan?
Absolutely. We feel as though that as mankind on the earth, we really have to look around. Most people believe that man is the highest form of intelligent life on the planet. But we look around and we find that there are turtles and elephants and all other kinds of animals that are outliving man. And we have to ask ourselves why. Why? If we are the highest form of life on creation, why is it that there are other animals, trees, that are outliving us? And we have to understand that there's something wrong. Also, if you look at the gestation period for man, we're talking about a gestation period from conception to delivery of about 280 days. There are other animals that have gestation periods of 21 days, a bird 21 days, and that can live 27 years. whereas we have a gestation period of 270, 280 days, and some of us are not making it past 30 or 40 years. And we have to say, why? Why? So to answer your question, really, Beverly, actually, not only can people live to be 200 years, we believe that people could live to be 1,000. We believe, our scientists are now saying that the body does not wear out, we tear it up. So there's a lot that we can do.
By wrong eating habits and wrong thinking habits even,
Right.
huh?
Wrong habits. Like I mentioned before, there are 8 ingredients of perfect health. Eating is just one. You have to take into consideration pure and righteous thought, because our bodies function on thoughts. What we think is what we eventually produce within our bodies. So that's the highest and the most important. In addition to that, air. The ability to breathe in large amounts of pure, clean air so that cells are oxygenated is extremely important. Exposing the body to sunlight is important because there are energy cells that are activated by each one of the colors that are in sunlight. And that's very important. The other thing is rest. And with rest, we recognize getting to bed at a real early hour. We found that the best hours for sleep are 9 to 11 o'clock at night. So that when Benjamin Franklin said early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, we found that there's some real truth to that. Most people reward themselves when they're older by allowing themselves to stay up later. But children go to bed early, and so should adults. It makes you much more energetic in the morning. The kidneys are able to perform their functions of cleansing the blood. So that's very important. Another ingredient is water. Drinking good, clean water every day and being sure to get water on an empty stomach. I would say that if there's one principle that's universally violated by so many of my friends is the idea of inadequate water consumption.
Now, when you say water, do you mean just any kind of water, or does your group promote spring water, distilled water, or tap water?
Well, we say our principle is that any water is better than no water.
Okay.
Because I've got a lot of people who don't drink any. But if we're going to look at water, we want to look at H2O. And really the only water that's on the market that's purely H2O, without any contaminants, without any minerals in it, is distilled water. That's the one that we recommend for the highest cleansing of the body. But we would recommend that people drink any kind of water rather than none. I'm running into young people who drink milk, who drink Kool-Aid, who drink pop, and who never, ever drink water. And what I do is I say to them, listen, can you take a bath in pop? What would happen if you took a bath in it? And they'll say, well, I would be sticky. I said, well, if you drink it all the time and don't drink water, then your body has a residue on the inside that has to be washed out by water. Water is the solvent of nature. Everything needs water. But somehow or other we've gotten in our minds that we can do without water, and we think of just taking liquids, and that really isn't what the body requires. It needs water. Just like plants need water, people need water. And we say that over and over and over again. And I have lots of people who say, well, I drink coffee, and I drink juice.
Any kind of liquid, huh?
Mm-hmm. But juice is food, and we have to understand it's a liquid form of food.
Are you supervising people on diets? How much of that does your group do?
Well, what we do is not so much supervising people on diets, is that we encourage people to include more fruits and vegetables in their diet. And we talk to them about how to eat it. For example, today I was with a Sunday school group, and they had a luncheon. And we encouraged the young people to eat their raw vegetables first. They had celery sticks and carrots, and we were showing them that they eat those first so that their body can begin to prepare for heavier foods by secreting the enzymes that are necessary. So there's a pattern to how you begin to approach even the food on your plate. And it's interesting, if you watch people eat, you can just tell. People have different habits. Some people are going to eat all the bread first. Then there are other people who are going to eat the meat first, and so on. But we teach our people to eat the raw vegetables first, to prepare your body slowly, get the enzymes flowing, so that when you eat the other things, they'll be digested and you will have better assimilation of your food. Then we teach you also, when you're eating raw things, it teaches you to chew them more fully, so that you're chewing things until they become a liquid before you attempt to swallow them. Because your body only digests foods within the small intestine, and it can only deal with them if they're in a liquid form. Now the stomach, of course, helps to break it down, but the stomach is designed to receive foods that have been well masticated.
What about weight loss programs? How much of that are you doing?
Oh, we're doing quite a bit of with weight loss because we have so many people in the United States who are overweight.
Is it working?
Yes, it is working because, see, when you're overweight, it means that you have made some choices that are incorrect for you. It means that you've either eaten too much, you haven't gotten enough water, you didn't get enough sleep, you didn't get enough oxygen to be able to metabolize the food properly. So your body, being the sophisticated equipment that it is, it merely stores the waste material so that it can get to it to fully digest it and eliminate it later. So that's what being overweight means, is that you have more food stored in your body that has not been processed. That's all. So we talk to people about the choices. Now, normally when a person is overweight, that person definitely does not need to eat anything before 12 o'clock because he or she needs a longer period of clean out. And remember, I mentioned before, the body cleanses itself at night. It's self-healing, self-cleansing.
Does the Stay Well Institute write out diets for people, diet plans for them to follow?
Yes, we do. We write out suggestions for them to follow.
What about exercise? What kinds of exercise facilities or classes are you teaching there now?
Well, what we're doing is we recommend that everybody needs to have at least 2 movement sessions per week. And what I mean by this is a session where you actually stretch your muscles to their fullest. We recommend Hatha yoga. We have a new system now that's called Egyptian yoga that we really, really love because it's so syncopated, and you can just move so smoothly into it. Yoga is our favorite. We like Tai Chi. We recommend jazzercise, exercise, aerobics. And another thing that we like is walking. Walking is just super because you can do it outdoors. You can expose your body to the energy that's contained within the air itself. We also like dancing. We would like to see the revival of dancing where people just actually go out and dance no matter what age they are, because within so many cultures, dancing is just a way that people express themselves. They move their bodies, and at the same time they open up all the joints and they really feel better. You express things, so that dancing in our society got to be associated with something in some segments that's kind of sinful, but really dancing and music that's positive actually reinforces the health of a person. For example, if you're out dancing and at the same time you're hearing lyrics that promote some kind of well-being or some positive themes that people ought to be about, it would make a real difference. I know this summer we went to Jamaica, went down for a sunsplash, and I loved reggae because the reggae music has a real great beat, and at the same time the themes of kindness, of helpfulness to one another, to spirituality, to development of cooperation between people are the kinds of themes that we should dance to. Skating, we recommend all of this. But people need 2 kinds of movement at least a week, once a week. What are you doing?
I'm going to sign up for your next class. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous.
And lose weight, stay well, eat better. Sounds real good. I understand that you also provide a service called Iridology. Can you tell us something about what Iridology means?
Well, Iridology is the study of the markings of the eye, the colored part of the eye. The body is wonderfully made. I say this over and over again because I'm just in awe when I think about the precision and the thought and the excellence that went into the craftsmanship of our bodies.